Welcome into the coach's office. We got a great show for you today as we welcome in Coach Mike McGinnis of the Chuggy Black Knights football team.
And it starts now.
The following is a special presentation of the coach's office.
I never punt on Madden.
Go Knowles.
I don't even know what roll tide means.
I mean, let them in. What is there to lose?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all right. Glad to have you in here. Why was everyone so concerned with the outfield play for the movie to be called Angels in the Outfield?
Where'd you get your shirt? Foot Locker? Uh-oh, Murphy's calling.
And now your hosts, Kyle Donahue and Matt Ripley.
How's it? Welcome into the coach's office. My name is Kyle Donahue. We've got a great show for you today. Hope you're excited to listen in. And as always, my co-host, Matt Ripley.
We've got a great show, a lot of good things coming up with Coach Mike McGinnis. He'll be talking about his special teams responsibilities, the transition from football into the Marines, and then becoming a coach. A lot of good information. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, this is Natalie, and I hope you all are enjoying this episode of the Coach's Office. I'd love to have you tune in to my show, Classic Throwback, where I talk all things retro and pop culture. Find my show on your favorite platform and hit the subscribe button. And check out my website, classicthrowbackpodcast.com.
All right, welcome back to the coach's office. We've got a great guest today inside the coach's office. It is Mike McGinnis. Coach Mike McGinnis with the Chucky Doak football program. How's it going today, Mike?
No, it's going good. How are you guys?
Man, we're glad to have you in here, man.
Fantastic.
One of our own.
One of our own. It feels like home.
Glad to be here.
The office.
What made you get into coaching? What made you want to get into coaching?
Well, when I retired from the Marine Corps, I was really looking for something to fill a void of the camaraderie piece. And when I came back here to Greenville, I remembered that Coach Murphy was still coaching here, and I asked him, I said, hey, do you got any openings on the coaching staff? And he said yes, and I knew that the camaraderie piece would help me deal with some of the things that I was going through at the time, so
Yeah.
helped me out a lot.
What's been the biggest transition for you? Like as you're starting, I think we said third year now. So what's, as you've gone from year 1, year 2, year 3, what do you see yourself doing differently now, maybe before? How are you starting to grow into this thing?
Well, I'll start at the beginning. When I got here, I was completely lost. You can ask Kyle. I mean, I really, and you were there. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw. I mean, I just kind of stood around and watched what was happening, and took in all the information that you guys had, and the offense you were running. I had no clue because, I was like, "What is the wing T?" And
That's everybody's
what did he
question.
say?
That's everybody's question.
wing T. Okay, so we have 3 running backs, right? No, not at all.
Is this Canadian football?
What is a wing? I don't know what a wing is.
Yeah. So I just kind of took in everything that you guys were doing and kind of surveyed what I needed to do for the next year and build off of that.
Yeah.
And the second year, I was given an opportunity to kind of get my feet wet with special teams,
Yeah.
and I feel like I was able to at least call something my own instead of just standing around watching somebody call the plays and the defense calling the plays on the defense, and me just wondering what was going to happen.
You
next.
did a great job watching me, though.
I was a fan. My first year, I was a fan in the stands, but I was on the sidelines.
Yeah,
No, there you
unique
go.
experience.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. You played at Chucky Doak. Tell us about your high school experience in football. How was that like for you, playing for the Black Knights?
Well, my freshman year, I had a lot of expectations as to what Chucky Doak was going to be because, the class before me had just went to the playoffs and went really deep in the playoffs, and they were what made me want to come here and be a Black Knight. I had a lot of people saying, "Hey, go to Greenville," and little George Fry walked up and said, "No, wait a minute, we got a good program going on here, and I want you to come watch one of our games." So I did.
That's awesome.
And they beat Happy Valley that night, and I was like, okay, so let's go try out Chucky Doak, and I never looked back. But I enjoyed being a Black Knight, even though my first couple years of expectations weren't so well. But I rolled with the punches the first couple years, and really enjoyed playing here as a Black Knight.
Awesome.
Black Knight for life. What kind of?
Go Rebs.
Yeah, get out of here. South Boo. You're the only exception.
Outnumbered.
So with your time at Chucky Doak and just being a part of a high school football team in general, and the demand of practices and the commitment to that, do you feel like that set you up when you joined the Marines? And do you think that helped you out as far as kind of giving yourself ahead of the curve, so to speak?
It definitely set me up for the Marines, and here's why. The coaching styles of the coaches that were there then, I'll say it like that, really prepared me mentally because they knew that if they got me hot, so to speak, that by saying things to me, then I would play better, and I did. So that really worked. And when I went to boot camp, right after I graduated, the drill instructor standing in my face was like, "Okay, you need to be a little shorter, and
Yeah.
Fit the mold.
And so that piece didn't really affect me at all. I mean, all these kids next to me were spazzing out at night and crying and wishing they wouldn't have been there. And I was like, "This is nothing, guys. Really, it's nothing.
It's not that bad.
We just don't have a football.
I've
been here.
I've been here for the last 4 years, so I
need
was
some
really
shoulder
prepared
pads.
for boot camp. Physically, I told Coach Murphy this. I told George Fry this. I said, not one day physically did the Marine Corps challenge me like I was challenged at Chucky Doak football during that time.
Wow.
We had the hill.
Yeah, still there.
We would run 25, 30 hills and carry a running back up it. So it was like, okay, I got to do 3 miles with nobody on my back, and it's not hilly.
Easier.
We got this, man.
Where's
Come
the
on.
hill?
So physically wasn't really it was challenging,
Of course. Yeah.
but I felt like it gave me the upper hand. Playing sports here at Chucky Doak. I played 3 sports all the way up to my junior year, so I was in shape more than most.
Right.
But I feel like, Chucky Doak football, basketball, and baseball, and the athletics in general really prepared me for boot camp.
We got a lot of kids, I think, going from athletics their senior year, they graduate, they go into the military. And we've heard kids come back to us and tell us before, like, I felt pretty prepared for boot camp and things like that. So that's good to hear, because for some of these kids, military is the best thing for them. I mean, coming out of football like that, and it betters their situation. So that's good to hear that you felt like you were prepared for that.
Mm-hmm. I look back on it now and I see some of the kids that are here, and I say, you'd be a good candidate for the military.
Right.
I am a little biased as to what branch, of course, because the few and the proud is definitely the few.
Right.
But these kids could really gain a lot out of a military career. Going to the military isn't just a title, so to speak. Yeah, you get a title while you're in there, but you get technical skills. You have a job that you're immediately getting paid for, a rank structure, which creates the structure that a lot of these kids really need.
Right.
They go through life and their structure is, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go home, I'm going to go hang out with my friends and at town center or in Greenville, or go cruising.
Yeah.
And they join the military, and all day from the first thing in the morning all the way up until we get off in the afternoon, it's structured. You know what you're going to be doing. And even then, they learn a lot of skills just that will help them in life.
That's awesome.
To be better people, be better parents, which is what we strive for.
Yeah, that's what we strive for. That's what we're working towards.
BKW.
So you talked about how high school football prepared you for the Marines. Talk about how the Marines have helped prepare you for being a coach now, the flip side of that.
The second year I was here, I really started seeing some things that we, as a team, could benefit from, that I had, some skills that I had from the Marine Corps. And the biggest one of those was really teamwork, things that we could do that would create teamwork. I think me and Kyle and Coach Murphy sat down and we said, okay, let's come up with a leadership program. And, Kyle really spearheaded it. And, every now and then I would give him a few hints on, hey, maybe you should try this or maybe do that. And we came out of it, between the second and third year there, and we started it during weightlifting. We would do every Thursday. We had a day where I was able to have them go through some scenarios that I'd experienced in the military, and at first the kids hated it. They did not want Thursdays to come. And then probably, I guess, a month into it, they were like, "Oh, we got military day. It's not called military day, but okay." They were really looking forward to it. And when they were done, they knew that they had been challenged that day. Would you agree?
I agree. Yeah.
And, all I did was went to the Greenville Light and Power and got a telephone pole and cut it up. And we used those for some log drills that we did. You can't lift that log without 7
Everybody,
together,
yeah.
So they had to work as a team to get it up and do some of the exercises that we did with it. And there was a couple others, that really challenged them in that same exact way that they grew to not like. Even when they started enjoying it, they hated it. But when they left, they knew that they had been challenged, and it's the beginning, I think, of a culture that we want to start building here at Chucky Oak. And I was very happy to be a part of that because
It's big.
Yeah, and the tough thing with that is not only starting it, but the tough thing is continuing on, and we're kind of seeing some of that within ourselves. But it's tough to every week bring the juice, as people say. But the benefit of that is, like he was saying, what's coming, you know how to prepare your mind mentally, and I think that's kind of something that we're trying to move forward to Friday nights. You know what's coming on Friday nights. You know what's expected of you. We talked to Coach Case in a previous interview, and he talked about expectations and knowing just how things are going to be done. And I think we've really tried to set that up so they have a clear set of expectations for us.
Well, I think the goal is always to make practice Monday through Thursday harder than it is on Friday.
absolutely.
So when you go out on Friday, just like you said, I can run 3 miles without somebody on my back and it's flat. You know what I mean? So you go out on Friday and you mean I don't have to pick up a telephone pole? You mean all I got to do is go out here and hit this guy in the mouth? Yeah, I can do that.
Much rather do that.
Yeah, I can do that for 4 quarters. So I think at a time, what's fantastic about that is right now, and we've talked to this with other coaches, there's such a big demand for culture. In a program to have the right culture, and to get that, you have to have the right team building skills. And it's not necessarily as simple, but it's going back to those Marine values. And that's an awesome idea to really be able to build that bonding that way. I mean, there's no greater bond than a bond over adversity. I think if you create a bond through adversity, that'll never go away.
Yeah, and to touch on that really fast, in some of my combat tours, I've spoke with them about it. The time that's spent with the individuals that you spend it with during that time is, you're in the mud, you're stressed out. It's the whole fog of war thing, and so is the guy next to you.
Yeah.
He's not quitting. You're not going to quit. You're not going to show that you're going to quit to keep him going. And he's doing the same thing for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we really wanted to put out there. Hey, this guy's not quitting. He's not showing that he's quitting. You got to do the same thing to make him, because he's pushing you, but he needs to be pushed as well.
Yeah.
And that is what pushes us through the fourth quarter. We've had some problems in the past of, not being able to finish, and
Finish is finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's terrific. Now, what do you see yourself year 3? How do you see yourself? What's some of your personal goals year 3 as a coach?
Well, year 3, I'm glad that I was given the opportunity to coach the defensive lineman and offensive lineman. It gives me a whole new perspective of where the team has to have them, and I feel like I'm a good candidate for it, because the fact that if I can make them understand that the team's not going to move without us,
Absolutely.
and make them really believe that. I think I don't know. Before I got here, maybe it was different, but the linemen, kind of need to be pushed a little harder than what I've seen, and I'm going to try and do that. In the fact that, create the culture for them
Yeah.
to understand that they have to push harder than anyone else on the team because they're the one in the trenches,
Absolutely.
busting knuckles and
Banging
beating
every
elbows.
play.
Got a new mayor of Gruntville.
I wasn't voted either, boys.
Yeah. And only grunts can come to Gruntville.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll be right back with Chucky Doak assistant coach Mike McGinnis.
Matt and I would love to hear from you inside the coach's office. Join us on Facebook at the coach's office or on Twitter at coaching_office. Tell us some topics or things that you'd like for us to discuss on upcoming episodes. Also, if you're on Google or iTunes, go ahead and hit the 5 stars. Now, it's time to head back inside the coach's office.
All right, we're back inside the coach's office with Coach Mike McGinnis. Now, Coach, you're going into year 3. You talked about how you went from your first year kind of being a fan on the sidelines, just kind of soaking it all in that first year of coaching. Now, special teams coordinator. What's that been like for you? Just that change in responsibility, the prep inside of that. Now, I will say this: the guy that was the special teams coordinator before you, that's not very big shoes to fill. So it couldn't have been that hard of a transition.
Whoever it was, he's lying. He's lying. It was me, everybody.
It was Coach Donahue, I think. We don't talk about her in here. I mean, him in here.
Well, I will say that I felt like it was big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Give him some props.
Thank you.
He does have big feet.
Wow.
That's what I
Thank you. Also,
But I found myself excited to get going on it. So when he handed me the sheet of paper over, it's like, oh man, I've got to laminate this so I can write on it. Because it changes moment to moment.
Yeah.
And he gave it to me, and I probably at the end of that practice, I believe I had probably 25 red pens.
I had it 45 times. Hey, can I borrow your marker for a second? Can I borrow your marker?
It's like, oh my God, this is
borrow your
hectic, Yeah, but that's what I wanted. I wanted that transition into something that gave me a piece to say, hey, that's mine.
Yeah.
And I did miss the first couple weeks of it because I was out visiting my daughter in Washington State, and I came back and one of the other coaches was in there, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on, I thought I was getting that job. I thought they'd replaced me that quick. I was like, hey guys,
You're out of here.
yeah. So I just took vacation.
I'm back.
You told me I could. Now you're going to fire me? No. I wanted to make it my own once we got everything figured out, like who's going to be where, I started kind of making some changes. I think instead of just running straight down the field, we had a couple different things that we wanted to do on both sides, kickoff and kickoff return. He had a lot of special teams plays that were more for kickoff. Extra points and,
Right.
and 2-point conversions, which I had none of. I was like, hey man, what's that one play you had?
What do we do?
What's that one
Yeah,
thing?
where
What'd
we
you
all
call it?
line up and
We do
Grubbs
something
comes
else.
across and we pitch it to him real fast
I like
or throw
that.
it to the tight end real quick. What are those plays?
I saw it on film.
That's a
So
good idea.
I just said, okay, if we run something like that, Coach Murphy's just going to call it anyway. So I'm just going to work on kickoff,
Yeah.
extra points, and kickoff return. That's what I kind of focused on in the beginning. And really, I was happy when I kind of made it my own, because then it was like, okay, I feel like Coach Murphy can trust me with this. So
Right.
come the first game, I'm like, okay, I can't mess this up. I cannot mess this one up.
Focus.
This is Pigeon Forge here,
Focus.
And then we got on into the game, and I'm like, oh my God, it's going to come down to a field goal, and I'm gonna, and if we miss it,
McGinnis!
yes, that's it. It's
over.
I'll be
I'm off.
fired. And so we ended up playing a good game, and we caught a big lead, and it didn't come down to a field goal, thank God.
Hallelujah.
But we didn't have any mess ups on the first game, so that made me relax a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And, game to game, you never know if Coach Murphy's going to yell at you or he's just going to look at you. And when he looks at me, I'm just like,
Sometimes it's both.
I'm like, I think I might be the only one that can get away with this. I look at him and be like, nah, no. But
Don't you do that to me? No.
he would definitely let me have it. But he may let me have it after this. But
Yeah. We'll wait till after the season to put this one out.
I took some advice that he gave me. He said, "Hey, look, the one thing that this team can look really stupid on is special teams, and I don't like looking stupid." That's all he had to tell me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just took it from there, and every time I would stand right next to the down marker in the beginning, and then finally I realized, hey, I can get somebody to do that for me. So,
Yeah.
And then I can pay attention. And but at first I just stood next to the down line, the down marker, and as soon as it come time for me to get my team together, I did it. And we never really I never gave them an opportunity to mess up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So special teams as a whole, I was able to do that piece fairly quickly because I felt like, that was the easy part. But, practicing these things, it's like stay in your lane,
Yeah.
And then we let them do it a couple of times, and I'm just watching, and Coach Murphy goes, okay, what's next? And I'm like, you tell me.
They're doing
He
a great
goes-
job. I don't
He
know.
goes, oh, really? I literally said that to him. And he's like, oh, really? But, I didn't mean to say it like I did, but from there forward, it was like, okay, when it's my turn, I had to make the best of it.
Right.
So I would be thinking constantly, hey,
You have
what
to.
can I do?
Yeah.
What can I do to make this better? Well, I need to implement it this practice. I need to make it organized, and I have to let it flow because I don't get much time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't want that same incident to come up with Coach Murphy. Hey, what are you doing? I don't know. You tell me. Oh, really?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Just hanging out.
Being a special teams coordinator is just making sure you're on the ball, organized with it, with the time that you have, and get out on a game day and make sure that you're making the right call.
Yeah.
Which, this past year we had a game where we had a few snafus, but
Mishaps.
It happens.
we thought that we had it made up for when we traded kickoffs against Johnson County, and we were like, okay, that's not going to happen again, guys. We've got the lead. We're not going to allow that. No more mess ups.
No more.
We kicked it off, and
The very next play.
it happened, and it happened again.
Yeah.
No more mess ups after this.
Okay, we're cutting
So-
it now.
So I realized, okay, the kicker has to be the most important person
Yeah.
on the kickoff team.
Yeah.
And he has to listen to where you tell him to kick it. And so when we practiced, we stopped trying to kick it deep. Let's kick it deep. No,
Yeah.
Coach Murphy doesn't want to kick it deep, so we're going to kick it right here and right here only. But
I don't care what the kicker can do.
so from there forward, I mean, the kicks were, the kicker knew exactly where he needed to put it. My focus this year is really trying to find new players because a lot of the players that was there last year aren't here, or they're on the field so much they can't be on that.
Right.
So my focus this year is finding people that will stay in their lanes and fly to the ball and really make an impact on the kickoff team. I'd like to recover a few, which
That'd be great.
we got one last year, but that was, it was the last game of the year, and it really didn't matter. But,
We got it. Okay.
and for a moment there, it did turn the tide of the game until later on. But we lost it again. But my focus is finding people that will fly to the ball. They want to be the one that makes that tackle. And if I can get 11 people, making that tackle, great. If three of them get there, I don't want there to be just one.
Yeah.
Let's try to get the whole team down.
Competition.
And make it a competition and get to the ball. The same way on kickoff return. Make your blocks. If you make your blocks, we will have a lane. It's real simple, guys.
It's easy.
And we didn't. When I changed it, we didn't. The way that we did it, I didn't make it very confusing. And it's a number system, and as long as they get their number, we're
Golden.
there. We're golden.
Simplicity. I think that's what
Touchdown.
Coach Case had mentioned on his episode. Less is more. I think we talked about
Yeah.
just make it as easy as you can. Now, Kyle's got a great story about his first time on the sidelines, jitters. as far as being special teams coordinator. What was it like that first time, that first game for you? Just that first game jitters. I mean, we've all been there. Just got them butterflies, and you don't want to mess up.
I don't feel good.
But you also don't want Coach Murphy coming down the sidelines on you either. So what was that like, that first game? When did you really start feeling good and like you had a real grasp on it?
Okay. I kind of touched on it earlier, but I'm going to go back a little bit with this one. And when I first started playing here at Chucky Doak, Coach Murphy was a coach here. And the first game that I had as a freshman, I was standing on the sidelines, and our fullback was just missing every block possible. And Coach Fry come, is jumping up and down, and he goes, "Give me a fullback," except for he said a few more words. But,
Absolutely.
And Coach Murphy and they were going to put somebody else in, and Coach Murphy said, "No, put McGinnis in. He'll make the block." And I swear to gosh, I think that at that very moment, I felt like I was going to throw up. I was a freshman.
That's not where I thought it was going. I feel like I could do it all.
I had two other fullbacks in front of me that were upperclassmen, and he chose me.
Wow.
And I get out there, and
I'll be back. I'll be back in a minute.
I get down to my 3-point stance, I was like, man, I've got to hit this defensive end. I've got to, because if I don't, I'm coming straight off the field. So I get out there, and the very first play, I hit the defensive end and drove him straight into Coach Murphy.
Oh, my gosh.
And Coach Murphy catches him. And, that's what I was, it's like I didn't want to let Coach Murphy down because he called on me to do it.
Yeah.
And now he calls on me to coach his special teams. The first game, I'm like, oh, my God. He just called on me. It's like a little girl.
I'm a little freshman.
I'm a freshman, and he's called. No, I'm a sophomore.
You sure there's nobody else?
So yeah, I did have some jitters, but like I was saying earlier, we were in a tight game. We hadn't made any mistakes. I was still nervous through the whole entire game because I felt like the game might come down to something that we had practiced.
Yeah.
And thankfully it didn't. No, I feel like we would have made it happen, but being able to get through that game, and around the fourth quarter when I realized, hey, we've got this game, it didn't matter to me if it would have came down to a field goal. I think we would have got it.
Right.
Yeah. And that's where I kind of said, okay, I just completed my first game. I've got this. And Coach Murphy didn't come down the sidelines yelling at me, and that made me feel a lot better about being able to do what I needed to do. But the jitters,
those are always going to be there.
Yeah.
You'll have a little bit every now and then.
Go ahead.
And it really wasn't that I was scared of it.
Yeah.
It's like I care about it so much.
Absolutely.
That
All that
I
work.
didn't want to mess up.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I've had a ton of those experiences in the Marine Corps, and I dealt with them all the exact same way. So that helped me get through that first game.
Yeah.
By being able to, I know I can deal with this. This is nothing compared to what I've been
Right.
through.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you were talking about, I took over the special teams my third year, the start of the third year, and like you're saying, it's kind of empowering to be given the reins to a team, right? Special teams is a group of people, what we call the Black Watch, and we're not going to tell the story of that, but it's kind of empowering, it's kind of nerve-wracking, and it's all that combined into one big Friday night mess. So my Coach Murphy story, he's heard it before, and he laughs at it. Ripley laughs every time.
I can still see it.
Oh, my gosh.
I can see it like I'm standing there.
So we're at Sullivan North. It is our last scrimmage before our first game. We're treating it like an actual game. This is the first time I've actually been on the field, right? So before that, I was in the box the previous 2 years. So the first time I've been on the field. And if you've ever coached in the box, it's a different world. It feels like you're watching the game on TV, kind of. You're involved, but you're not really involved. It's just different. So I get down on the field first game, and I really think it was the first time we punted. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But he told me before the game, he's like, "Don't worry about it." It wasn't like you where I got to practice it at all summer. So before we go up there, he's like, "All right, you're gonna get the special teams around you. Alan Cobble's gonna help you. So don't relax." We get up there. It's first punt, whatever. I'm just chilling out, watching the game, relaxing. Third down, nothing. I don't say a darn word. Not a word, just watching. 4th down, punt team. Still, I'm standing there watching, and he's yelling. I don't even remember what he said.
I don't remember either.
Came down 20, 30 yards
Punt
down
team
the
wasn't
sideline.
anywhere to be found.
No
so
punt
we're
team.
trying to yell them and get them on the
No
field.
punt team. And
Where's the punt team?
I was like, oh, darn, that's my bad. That's me. That one's on me. I'll take that. And he comes down, and he yells, no, crap. But he doesn't yell crap. And he's right in my face, and he gives you the look. You know the look. Just one of those stares. And I felt like I was as big as a dang, thimble.
Take the gum out, throw it on the field. I still remember. I can see it in my mind. I can see it.
To his credit, he came back later and said, okay, it's just a learning experience. But it crumpled me.
Welcome to the field. You sure you want to be here?
I don't want. Can I go back to the box?
I want my popcorn.
I want my popcorn.
I got that at Johnson County last year.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
I have
Not
too many.
popcorn. You mean the
It
yelling?
was not popcorn. It was yelling for sure.
Oh goodness, fun times.
I've got too many. I don't know that I can. I don't have one per se that. I have a lot of humbling experiences, so that's just how that goes.
Bow the chest. Well, we'll be right back with the final words from Coach McGinnis right after these messages.
The coach's office is now looking for a title sponsor. Your name would be over the whole entire show, or commercial sponsors. If you or someone you know owns a business and would be interested, please contact us either on Facebook, on Twitter, or through our email, thecoachesofficeshow@gmail.com. And we'd love to have you be a part of the coach's office.
And we're back with Chucky Doak assistant coach Mike McGinnis. Coach, you've talked about your experiences in the military. You talked about your experience with Chucky Doak football, both as a player and as an assistant coach. So what's some advice that you would give to young coaches starting out or young coaches taking over the special teams?
Well, I would have to say that, realize that, you're going to make mistakes. Try to minimize them as much as possible. Use your time wisely, and really try to get your point across with the players as to what you want done. Because like you said earlier, you really gotta make it simple, because they're not professional players.
Yeah.
They haven't been doing it for 25 years. Some of these kids that's on the special teams are, first, second year they've played.
Yep.
And if not, maybe it's the first or second time they've played on special teams.
Absolutely. And you don't have a lot of time to prepare.
Yeah. So use your time wisely. Understand that you're going to make mistakes. Just deal with them as fast as possible and correct them. Use your, not only use your time wisely, but you have to, think of things that you can adjust to, because in high school football, I've seen so many times where teams have adjusted to what we were doing.
Yeah.
And we had to adjust on them.
Right.
And sometimes it was like, hey, do this. I made a call last year. We came out, and the defense, or the kickoff or receiving team, adjusted to us immediately. And I called something else right on the fly. And you have to understand that
That's
if you practice that,
Yeah, that's
you
a
have
big
to
key.
have faith in what your players know.
Yeah.
And you make the call real quick, and if they do it, great. You've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish that week. The last thing I would like to say about it is understand that when you get in the heat of the moment, realize, hey, you're going to make it through it. It's just a high school football game.
Yeah.
You're going to make it through it.
It's not life or death.
Just deal with it. Don't get crazy on the sidelines and lose your mind. Talk to the players. Hey, you really missed out on that one, buddy. And explain what you was trying to get done there, and let them know, hey, you made a mistake, but let's look forward.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't hold grudges.
Yeah.
If you hold grudges and you get mad because somebody missed a tackle and you set him on the sidelines, you might have just lost that kid for good.
Right.
So, keep the faith in those kids to let them know that you believe in them.
Yep.
And they'll get the job done for you.
Awesome.
Well, that's awesome, Coach. Well, we'd like to thank Coach Mike McGinnis for joining us here from Chucky Doak Football. Coach, good luck in year 3. Hopefully you don't get that look of Murphy coming down the sidelines on you anytime.
Yeah, I hope not, because I've got 3 things I got to deal with this year, so I've got more opportunities.
No doubt. Well, be sure to check us out on our website, coachesofficeshow.com, on the Facebook, Coaches Office Show, and on Twitter, coaching_office. A lot of good things coming, a lot of great shows coming up. Stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment on everything that we've got going on, social media, and on our website.
Yeah, thanks again to Mike McGinnis.
Thanks for having me.
For Matt Ripley and myself, Kyle Donahue. And as always, if you're last one out, turn off the lights and lock up the gate.
This has been a presentation of the Coach's Office, produced by Quotable Productions.